Most people walk through the world believing they are in control. They think they choose their reactions. They think they decide who influences them. They believe their decisions are their own, but they're wrong. Every single day, other people are shaping your thoughts, your emotions, your behavior, and most of the time, you don't even feel it happening. Manipulation isn't always loud. It doesn't always look like deception. Most of the time, it looks like a conversation. It looks like someone making you feel guilty. It looks like someone questioning your judgment until you stop trusting yourself. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He studied power not as a theory, but as a living force. And what he found was simple. The people who cannot be manipulated are not the strongest or the loudest. They are the ones who understand exactly how manipulation works. Before we begin, drop this affirmation in the comments. I see clearly. Number 1. Understand that manipulation always targets an emotional need. This is where most people get caught. They think manipulators attack logic. They think the danger is being outsmarted. But manipulation doesn't go after your reasoning. It goes after your needs. Your need for approval. Your need for belonging. Your need to feel like a good person. Your need to avoid conflict. Every manipulation strategy in existence is built on one of these needs. Someone makes you feel guilty because they know you need to see yourself as kind. Someone creates urgency because they know you fear missing out. Someone withholds affection because they know you need their validation. The mechanism is always the same. Find the need. Apply pressure. Watch the behavior follow. Once you understand this, everything changes. You stop asking why you reacted. You start asking what need was being targeted. That shift alone makes you far harder to move. The moment you feel a sudden pull to prove yourself, stop. That pull is not coming from your values. It's coming from a need that someone just activated deliberately. Real power begins with the ability to recognize that gap. Most people never learn to see it. They act on the emotional signal without questioning where it came from. Strategic individuals pause. They ask one question before responding. Is this reaction mine, or was it created for me? That question creates distance between the trigger and the response. And that distance is where your power lives. When you can feel the manipulation without being captured by it, you become nearly impossible to control, because the tool only works when you don't see it. Number 2. Never explain yourself to someone trying to weaken you. Most people believe that if they just explain clearly enough, the other person will understand. They think the problem is communication. They defend their choices. They justify their behavior. They give more detail, more context, more reasons. And every time they do, they lose ground. Here's what's actually happening. When someone pressures you to explain yourself, they are not seeking understanding. They are seeking leverage. Every explanation you give is new information. Information about what matters to you. Information about what you're afraid of. Information about where you feel uncertain. They take that information and use it to apply pressure more precisely next time. Machiavelli was clear on this. Words spoken in defense reveal the location of your weaknesses. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You owe yourself protection. This doesn't mean you become cold or unreachable. It means you become selective. There are people in your life who deserve your openness. They've earned it through consistency, through respect, through genuine care. But the person who constantly questions your decisions, who challenges your reasoning at every turn, who makes you feel like you're always one wrong answer away from their disapproval, that person is not looking for connection. They're looking for control. And feeding that appetite only sharpens it. The strongest response to someone demanding your justification is calm, quiet stillness. No anger. No elaborate defense. Just a refusal to perform on command. That stillness communicates something words never could. You are not available to be destabilized. Number 3. Guard what you reveal about your emotional state. People can only manipulate what they can measure. If they know you're anxious, they create urgency. If they know you're insecure, they plant doubt. If they know you're lonely, they offer connection and then withdraw it. Your emotional state is a map, and the more clearly you display that map, the easier it becomes for others to navigate directly toward your vulnerabilities. Most people broadcast everything. Their frustration is visible. Their desire for approval is obvious. Their fears come through in every over-explained sentence. They don't realize they're handing someone a complete guide to controlling them. Strategic presence works differently. You don't suppress your emotions. You choose what to reveal and when. Calmness in tense moments isn't indifference. It's armor. Ask yourself honestly. When you're in a difficult conversation, are you reacting or responding? Reacting means the other person set the emotional temperature and you followed it. Responding means you chose your state regardless of theirs. This is one of the most powerful positions you can hold. When your emotional reactions are not automatic, when they can't be reliably triggered, the person trying to manipulate you loses their primary tool. They expect a reaction. They've built their strategy around getting one. When the reaction doesn't come, the strategy collapses. Does this mean you feel nothing? No. It means you feel it and still choose. That choice is the difference between someone who gets used and someone who can't be touched. Number 4. Recognize the pattern of manufactured obligation. Manipulation rarely asks directly. It creates situations where saying no feels like a moral failure. Someone does you a favor you didn't request, and suddenly you're indebted. Someone sacrifices for you loudly, publicly, repeatedly, and now your refusal to comply feels like ingratitude. This is manufactured obligation. It's one of the oldest influence strategies in existence. Machiavelli documented it in the behavior of rulers who gave gifts not out of generosity, but out of strategy. Because a gift creates a claim, a favor builds a chain, and once the chain is in place, pulling it is almost effortless. You need to learn to identify the difference between genuine giving and transactional generosity. Genuine giving comes without conditions. It doesn't track the debt, it doesn't remind you, it doesn't expect specific behavior in return. Transactional generosity always comes with a ledger. You may not see it immediately, but when you try to act freely, the ledger appears. You'll hear about everything that was done for you. You'll feel the weight of what you supposedly owe. You'll find that every attempt to make your own decision is met with a reminder of your debt. That's not kindness. That's a leash. You are allowed to receive without surrendering your autonomy. Appreciation and compliance are not the same thing. You can be grateful and still say no. You can acknowledge someone's effort and still choose differently. The moment you accept that distinction, the manufactured obligation loses most of its power. Because it only holds when you believe you owe compliance. You don't. Number 5. Understand the role of information control. What people know about you shapes how they can affect you. This is not about being secretive for its own sake. It's about understanding that information is leverage, and most people distribute it far too freely. They share their fears in casual conversation. They reveal their plans before those plans are protected. They talk about their struggles with people who haven't shown they can be trusted with that knowledge, and then they're confused when that information is used against them. Machiavelli observed that the prince who reveals too much creates the conditions for his own defeat, not because people are universally malicious, but because information, once shared, can be used in ways you never intended. Be thoughtful about what you share and with whom. Before you speak honestly about something that matters to you, ask yourself whether this person has earned that level of access. Have they been consistent? Have they protected your interests in the past? Have they shown that what you share with them stays safe? If the answer is unclear, say less. This is not paranoia, it's discernment. There's a difference between openness and exposure. Openness with the right people builds trust, builds depth, builds real connection. Exposure to the wrong people builds vulnerability. Strategic individuals understand this clearly. They are warm without being transparent. They are genuine without being an open book. You can be both fully yourself and also selective about what you offer and to whom you offer it. Number 6. Learn to sit with discomfort rather than react to it. Manipulators depend on your discomfort. They create tension and then offer you a way out, as long as you comply. They provoke guilt and then show you how to relieve it. By doing what they want, they generate anxiety and then position themselves as the solution. This entire mechanism falls apart if you can tolerate the discomfort without rushing to resolve it. Most people can't do this. The emotional pressure feels intolerable. They'll do almost anything to make it stop. That urgency is the lever. When you learn to sit with tension without reacting, you remove that lever entirely. The discomfort still comes. You feel it, but you don't perform for it. This takes practice. Your instinct will be to fix the feeling fast. Someone expresses disappointment in you, and everything in you wants to smooth it over immediately. But ask yourself first, is this disappointment genuine, or is it calculated? Is this person in real pain, or are they applying pressure? Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply wait. Don't rush to repair a discomfort that someone else manufactured. Let the moment sit. See what happens when you don't respond the way they expected. Very often the pressure dissolves on its own. Because it was never about the issue, it was about whether they could move you. And when they discover they can't, the strategy is abandoned. Number 7. Know your own values before someone else defines them for you. This is the foundation. Everything else rests here. If you don't have a clear, stable understanding of what you believe, what you stand for, what kind of person you are, someone else will fill that space. Manipulators are expert at making you question your own judgment. They reframe your boundaries as selfishness. They reframe your clarity as arrogance. They reframe your refusal to comply as a character flaw. And if you're uncertain about who you are, those reframes take hold. You start to wonder if they're right. You adjust. You soften. You compromise in directions you never intended to go. And before long you're operating according to someone else's definition of you. Machiavelli wrote that a leader who does not stand on his own reasoning will always be redirected by the reasoning of others. The same principle applies to anyone who wants to remain free. Know what you value, Know what you will not accept. Know where your lines are before you're standing at them under pressure. Because when manipulation comes, and it always comes, the only real protection is knowing yourself more clearly than the person trying to redefine you. Your self-knowledge is not arrogance, it's your strongest defense. When you know exactly who you are, someone trying to tell you who you are finds no available space. There is nothing to fill, nothing to replace, nothing to redirect. You are already occupied by yourself, and that is a position no one can take from you. Drop this affirmation in the comments. No one controls my mind.